All right, everyone, welcome to another video, Full Speed Impulse, and today we are putting that 1987 YZ125 back together. You seen the last videos, we got the frame all painted up with our KBS products, came out freaking awesome. Motor is ready to go, and the garage is destroyed, so we need to get this thing together so we get our garage back together, you know what I mean? So let's just get at it. We gotta get the frame on the table here, and we're gonna get the motor bolted back in and just start piecing it slowly together. Still gotta buff that swing arm and get that thing looking crisp, but other than that, pretty much everything else is ready to go. All our parts are here, we're ready to get at it. Only thing is, we weren't able to get number plates yet because not a lot of people make number plates for 1987, so we're really trying to figure out what route we want to go on that. I necessarily don't want every bike in my garage having our 417 number on there, especially if someone else wants to ride our bike. And this just being a classic is probably not going to be like a normal ripper for us. So I don't know if I want to put my 4017 on there. So we haven't quite decided on that. So as far as being, there won't be too many stickers on the plastic. We might add some on later on, and we'll have a couple other videos being seat cover. And we didn't get a shifter yet. The shifter is kind of clapped on this thing, but it's not going to keep us from riding it, at least testing it down the road. So those will be videos maybe up to come later when we start picking up parts, but we have plenty of other stuff that we're buying parts for and getting going. So we're going to get this together for what we have and parts and all that and get it running and then move on to some of our other builds. So let's get at it. So there's the motor. Just want to specify, guys, right now, we ride everything we got. Okay, but this 1987 is probably going to be more of a garage queen than a everyday weekend ripper. She's kind of old. So she ain't going to be the most desirable bike to probably ride all the time, but she'll be a fun little ripper. That being said, we found out when we were kind of going over the motor here that it had already been painted black just by spray paint, and it would have been a whole mess to try to clean that all off, and whether we powder coat it or whatever, it just would have looked really worn. So what we did is just took some of our engine paint right here, just standard stuff, and would have really liked to get some KBS, but this is kind of what we just had in our shelf and all that. So definitely would recommend a KBS. That stuff definitely holds a lot better than that stuff. That's going to wear real quickly, while your KBS products are definitely a lot stronger. But regardless, she's on there. She's looking fine. She's looking good. We're going to get her in our frame we got sitting over here, guys, and we'll just start piecing them together slowly. So let's get at it. All right, guys, we're going to take you day by day here because this is a process getting this done. Doesn't look like we might have got a lot done. But remember, they spray painted this thing, so there's overspray and everything. So all the way down to our brackets, we're scuffing them, we're cleaning them, we're getting the bolts, we're soaking in paint thinner. We're trying to get as much as we can done. But we did get this all tightened up here. All the brackets, the motor is mounted firm in there. So now we'll be on to our next step. We'll probably mount like our coil, our little CDI box, I think we'll call that. And come in the knickknacks there. Get our cable going that way. And then we're gonna have to lift this thing and put it on a dirt bike stand here soon. Because before you know it, we'll be putting the steering stem in and getting the wheels on. So after we do all that, then we'll start buttoning up with plastics and seat. We still didn't go with a aftermarket seat cover. We still have the stock one. I'm gonna say I'm regretting it, but I'm thinking it might not work. It might just be a little too worn down because this bike's gonna look so clean and fresh, and the seat might not. So we'll button this video up with the seat that we currently have, but like I said earlier, we're probably gonna come back and we're gonna probably do a seat cover on it, which then we can kind of show you guys how to put a seat cover on your dirt bike, because it doesn't matter the year, they're all the same. You gotta rip them off, you gotta buy the one that you want, bring it in, staple it, all that good stuff. It's a pain in the butt, but it might be worth it on this one because it'll say Yamaha on the side and white, and it's gonna look so good. All right, guys, we are looking pretty good. Another night down on this thing. Got all our wiring done. Haven't zip tied this yet because I want to see where the gas tank sits on everything. All our hoses are hooked up. Motor's fully mounted in. Airbox is fully mounted in. Swing arm suspension on the rear is fully mounted in. Everything required for us to like clean the bolts, take paint off stuff. Like we said before, these back here, they were not looking as good. They were super rusty. We had to heat them up, put some lubricant on them, finally back them off, wire brush them, And then we put some new nuts on there, actually. And then we put a bunch of anti-seize on there, which I recommend for you guys. You're doing any type of swing arm work. You finally get these things backed off, whether you're doing a new chain, whatever. Take those things off. Put some anti-seize on there because it's going to save you in the long run, for sure. Definitely a must-do. You know, so where we're at now is pretty much we're going to lift this thing off. And we're going to put it on a stand. And we're going to start working on that back wheel and getting that thing mounted up. So it'll be pretty much sliding the axle through, getting our brake lever system set back up on this thing. And then we got a brand new chain. Get that chain on, cut the length, get that dialed in. And then after that, it'll be pretty Oh, sorry. We also have new brakes for our drum there. So we'll have to do that real quick. The hub's already cleaned up. We did that when we were cleaning the wheels and having new tires put on. Front suspension will be pretty standard. That will be sliding that all in, getting that everything tightened up. And then we got new bars for this thing. And then that will be when we really check like how we have our routing of our wiring and all that, our cables, and making sure that it's in a good spot. After that's done, it'll be mocking the plastic up. Again, making sure everything's kind of set to where it's happy, where we put the plastic on and we're not fighting anything. And then she'll be done. Couple stickers, and we'll be doing a fire up, boys. Like, this bike is pretty close, actually. And I already gave it a little test. She ain't too heavy. We'll be able to lift that off the table here. You know, we got this table off buddy hooked us up. We wanted just the chairs, but he brought the table over too for our patio set and all that. I know you guys don't care, but these things work great to work on. We were working on this foldable table here on our small bikes, but on heavier stuff like this, I mean, it's just so much easier to work on something like this. And I know they make fancy dancy tables and all that, but I tell you what, you see a little patio table on the side, man, these things are super handy. We even use this thing for some welding. So you know the deal. This thing's good. So tomorrow's a new day, guys. We're going to get at it and get this thing on the stand and start working on that back wheel. And we're going to get at this thing. All right, guys, we have made some huge strides in the bike here. It's looking good. Fire's up. Just got some finishing touches to do this thing. Got everything mocked up. Hoses are tight. The wiring's tucked. Gas tank fit really well. That's a Clark gas tank, brand new. And it said it'd take a month to get it in, but it actually came pretty quick, so that was nice. That fit like a glove. Got to get a different fuel cap for it still because the vents broke on this one. And our new one that we ordered was the wrong fit. So not a big deal. Fuel valve, we cleaned up the seals in there. It's not leaking anymore, so that's good. Pipes almost 100% mounted. We found a bad grommet down here. We didn't know at first what this was for. But I realize now what it's for the pipe. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to drill a hole through here. And then through here, and then mock that up, hopefully, and then just run a bolt through there. So that's probably our game plan for that. Front ends all buttoned up, good. Mica bars. Gotta get our grips on still. And then once we get to where everything's done, we're gonna mount all the plastic on. So we're gonna put the finishing touches on this, guys, and then she's gonna be good to go. All right, guys, that's the bike. Let's go over a couple things before we end this video. So there she is, looking good. 1987 YZ125, guys. Everything fit pretty good, plastics and everything. Seat's pretty decent. That's just how it's going to sit. You can see it's raised up a smudge in the back. Not much I could do about that. Even if I were to put a new seat cover on, it's kind of just how it is. You already know the deal with the Pro Circuit exhaust. We're pretty happy to find this exhaust, guys. There was a DEP exhaust, but that was all the way from United Kingdom and only one we could get. And it was almost double the price of this pipe right here, which was crazy for just a slip-on. And we would have been taking the risk if it would fit or not, because at that time we weren't for sure in our year, and it said 87 only. So it would have been really cool. Would have been a little more of a retro pipe. This one's a little bit more modern looking, so that is a little bit disappointing, but it does sound good, and you know we like our Pro Circuits. Plastic UFO fit pretty good for them going back all the way to 87. There's a couple holes we had to Dremel a little bit so the bolt fit a little bit nicer, so it wasn't raising up the plastic. Wheels are looking good. Tires, chain. Motor's looking pretty good. Obviously, see our boots came out really clean. That was nice. Mica bars for the win. Always, guys. Love the mica bars. Thankfully, we already had these levers, and they're nice and gold, so it just kind of blends in with the bike, looking crisp, adding a little bit of color difference to it. Got to redo our hose here. Keeps on wanting to kink up on us. So the hose is probably just a little bit too long. We might have to get a new hose since it's already trying to kink here. But we will undo this and try snipping it and going again, making a more direct route. Or, I don't know if we have to go shorter or if we have to go longer. But either way, we'll figure that out. Not a big deal. Didn't get a shifter yet. Did a quick glance, and then they were saying like XR50 shifters also fit this, which is kind of crazy. But besides that point, we have a couple 50s, and we have our XR70 that has that cool gold BBR. It's a little bit extended, but it might be about the same length as this. So anyways, we're going to see if it fits, and then we'll know what to order. I think we're going to stick with this seat here. It's got a little bit of dirt marks on it, but first time we ride the bike, that's going to happen anyways. If we get a new seat cover, the new seat covers say Yamaha in white on the side, which does look pretty good, but I don't think it's necessary. I don't think we need it. So we still haven't mocked up our little tab down there and drilled the holes. We didn't do that because we're going to come back to it because there is another bracket we want to make for the radiator over here. Couldn't quite figure out what they wanted this bracket to go to, but there must have been some type of bracket that went from this to the radiator to give it more support at one point, and it was missing. So either we'll look and see if we could find that brace, or if you guys know, let me know. Or we'll probably just make one because it's just a piece of metal and that would be really easy for us to make. Pegs right here came out pretty good. They're not perfect, but they're going to work for us. These are KX 450 pegs, I'm pretty sure. It came off our 08 that we used to have. And we had to grind them a little bit, and then cut the springs, but they seem to be working really good. Rear brakes are dialed on this thing, feeling good. Front brakes still need to be bled. So it wasn't bleeding easy for us, so we're going to come back to that. But that's just a couple... Oh, and the last thing still, we still got to get a different fuel cap. But seems to be whole. No radiator leaks, no fuel leaks, so that's a win. It actually runs, and it's idling good. I think it finally got some of that other gas that we had in there, which was a really heavy oil mix, and it also was a high octane mix, which is going to make it burn slower, which is going to load up the bike more, which is going to cause it to idle lower. So now that we just got some good clean 93 in there with a nice 32-to-1 blend, it seems to be pretty happy. Our idle screw does not seem to be working on that carb. I don't know the reasoning why it's not working. My first thing would just be to throw money at it and just buy the same carb again that's brand new and put that on there. But we'll see. Maybe we just got to tinker with it a little bit. But it is idling really good right now. So guys, that is our 1987 YZ125 wrapping up the build. She's done. On to other stuff. We got plenty more little pit bike stuff coming for you. We have our YZ450. The motor's getting yanked out of that. We're going to have a video of that motor getting broken down and built, figuring out what's even wrong with it, and then getting that built. And then in 2 months' time, in November, we are going to start our 1997 RM125 build, so make sure you guys stick for that. We got a couple dirt bike trips coming up before then, so our next 2 months are just going to be clustered with miscellaneous stuff, trips, just enjoying the rest of the summer before winter's here. So that's what we're going to be doing. And then once it starts cooling off and we're done with all that, we're going to get that 125 in here, and we're going to break, well, it's already broken down, but we're going to send stuff out to the powder coater, and we got to go through the motor completely because it needs a new crank and top end and everything. So it's going to be a fun winter, guys. We got plenty of projects coming, and I appreciate you guys watching, and you know the deal. Until next time, we'll see you later.